Hey guys, Dave here from Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds, and welcome to our epic edition of Nerdarchy. I got some of the crew here with me.
I'm Ted.
I'm a high nerd artist, Ryan. That's my epic leveled title.
Nice. So we're digging into page 231 in the DMG. Talk about epic boons. So this edition does not yet have epic levels, but they did give us a little something to work with.
Right, they give us boons, so I can take these at like first level, right? Because I mean, it's pretty sweet to be immortal or move an extra 30 feet or whatever.
Right, as long as you've already had gotten 355,000 experience points, and then another 30.
So you need 385,000 experience to get a boon, huh?
Pretty much. That's the way it works. That is beyond. That is basically beyond 20th level. So in this edition.
Do we have a favorite boon? How do we want to handle this?
Well, first of all, they're just freaking. There's so many cool ones. It would be hard to pick.
Well, I mean, let's even talk about like what this means. Like essentially, when you're to this point, you're basically a demigod. You are Hercules. At this point.
Okay.
I mean, because you can be immortal. You get like stat bumps. Like,
At this point, really, and the boons have to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, so there's that, like, they're sort of derived from the gods. Isn't it, like, every time you level that you get a stat bump, like, under the sort of epic level thing, too, or is that one of the boons you take?
No, there's no levels, per se.
Right.
Basically, what they're saying is, it's a reward to give a character every time they hit 30,000 experience points beyond that 20th level, 355. We're like, take one of these.
Yeah, I know they expand what your max stat can be, too, in certain things. Because, again, like, you're more than a mere mortal at this point, like, with these boons.
Well, yeah, you got in those 20 levels. That means something. I mean, like, for a sorcerer, I love the boon of quick casting. I mean, it makes the quicken spell thing kind of useless, but it's really cool. Well, it only affects one spell, but it's still really cool. So you could be like, I just throw fireballs.
Yeah. I mean, a fireball and a cantrip. Though I would say by the time that you're getting epic level boons, I would let you break. Like if it's as a boon, I would let you break that one spell per round sort of thing, because you can do a spell and a cantrip, but you can't do spell. I think by that point, like with that boon, you should be able to break that rule.
Well, I mean, that's one way to go, but even without breaking that rule, you're
still pretty
as a sorcerer, you could twin a firebolt that does, at that point, is it 4 or 5 die 10?
I think it's 5.
If you happen to be, the draconic ancestry, and you go with fire as your thing, you then add your charisma bonus all those.
F that, dude. You're a sorcerer or warlock, you twin your Eldritch Blast that's doing like a shit ton of damage, because the Eldritch Blast is like the nastiest cantrip.
Well, yeah, what you could do is just take, I don't think it will work, because it has to target one thing. Or is it target, or can you target something?
I think it's just targeting something, right? As long as you're making an attack roll to hit, because isn't the Eldritch Blast like you get to hit like multiple rays on?
Yeah, you get multiple Eldritch Blasts,
but it's on the same creature, isn't that the deal?
No, it doesn't have to be.
You
can actually.
So I wonder if that's twinnable. Like how?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to.
Because I mean, you're playing a sorcerer warlock in a game, so that would be something to look into.
Yeah, I see Searing Light used as an example all the time.
Yeah.
And Searing Light does give you, that gives multiple rays. So so using that example, that would actually work. But even as a sorcerer, there's ways to get Eldritch Blast on your spell list.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, whether you go Initiate of Magic or you go Spell Sniper, both of those would give you access to it. It's charisma based, so you put it on there. Force damage is always a nice thing to have. The only hard thing with that is you wouldn't be able to get your charisma bonus on all the rays.
Right. Yeah.
Because I think Mike Merle's fielded the question. The way it's written, it seems like you should be able to, but the FAQ came back as it's meant once per turn. So once per round, you could apply your charisma bonus. But it's weird too. Like if it's one creature, you hit it with all the rays, you would get it once. But if it's 4 different creatures, then they would all get the charisma.
So you may as well spread the damage out and then cast like your area of effect spell, you know, like to
Well, yeah.
finish things off.
Well, that would kind of work with the fireball, fireball and firebolt combination.
Or if you've hurt them enough, because these spells are pretty weak, like sleep, color spray. Yeah.
On your question, twin spell lets you cast a spell that targets only one creature that doesn't have a range of self, and it lets you do it to a second creature in range with the same spell. So it's got to be something that targets one creature. So the way Eldritch Blast is worded, you get multiple beams, but it does say towards one target. So multiple beams allow you to hit multiple. So the way I would allow, like if I were DM, someone was bringing this situation to a player, I would say, all right, your 20th level, you're getting 4 beams at 17th level. You can put 4 beams on that guy and 4 beams on that guy, but you're not hitting 8 targets. That would be my ruling.
There we have it from Nerdarchy's TED from the DM's chair.
That's going to require 8 attack rolls.
Yeah, opposed to Fire Blast, which would be
2,
or Firebolt, which would be 2.
And Firebolt, goes up to the same.
They're all off the same scale, so it doesn't matter. And that's just one boon. Like there's tons of them. Spell Mastery, which is actually a wizard high level ability. You get to expand upon that and add more spells. Spell Recovery, again, you could do, it's a wizard ability, but then you can get that for anyone. But then there's like off the cuff things like Fire Soul. You're now just immune to fire damage.
And you can cast Burning Hands at will.
Right, and then they have Stormborn, which is the same thing for lightning damage, and then
Thunderwave all the time. Just going around and you hand out Thunderwaves like crazy. Like, oh, this wizard's here again. He's gonna be all out and Thunderwaving.
The cool thing about something like that is like it doesn't say that there's a prerequisite. So like suppose we touched on Eberron earlier today. It's like, all right, well, what if you've got someone in House Lyra who has reached epic level? It's like, oh, well, I'm now immune to thunder and lightning damage, and I can cast this spell all the time.
Well, yeah, you could absolutely do. Like, I would, if you're going with that, I'd flavor it like you have a unique dragon mark to your house,
right,
which would be kind of cool. But then there's other things on here where you get gain proficiency in all skills, which is pretty crazy. Or for your barbarians and monks, boon of speed, add 30 feet to your movement.
You're just zipping around everywhere.
I don't even know what you end up with as a monk at 20th level, but then you're adding 30 feet to that.
Well, and what if if you're playing your tank character, I'm just going to get 40 hit points added to my maximum.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's almost like that seems like one of the, by that level of play, it almost seems like one of the weaker ones because it's like absorbing a shot from things you're going to be fighting. But I mean, like,
but that's still 50 hit points.
Yeah, but what if you took it over and over again, like for 10 levels of epic?
400
extra hit points.
I'm really good at being a human punching bag. Like you can, bar none.
Right, because
I have more hit points than Odin.
Because if you're playing a game where you're pushing those epic levels and you just keep going, you're not getting levels. You're just getting boons for each 30,000 XP. So if you just sit back and say, you know what, I'm just going to be a tank, and I just keep taking this.
Have you guys looked at the boon of planar travel?
That's what allows you to just change planes.
It's a specific plane, and you can only do it once per short rest, but you're like, yeah, I'm feeling the fire of a plane now, right? So I'm going to go chill there for a while, work on my tan.
That's right, because I'm also a fire soul and immune to fire damage. So, yeah, that's good.
So there's definitely some cool ones, and it leaves room for coming up with your own.
Absolutely, like something that's campaign specific. I'm sure we're gonna see more of these as they develop, epic level content kind of deal.
Yeah, so. and I wonder I wonder if this will then become more of an optional role.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe it's already an optional role. A lot of this stuff is.
My guess is it's either going to be a completely optional role where it's like, all right, you can either gain a level or get a boon, or it's going to be worked into the actual epic levels.
Structure.
Yeah.
So that it's like, okay, you gain a level, you gain this feature, you gain a level, you gain this feature. Oh, you're 24th level in this class, gain a boon.
Well, and it may just be like one chart for like all classes at epic levels that like they just structure in like they're like, all right, well, let's carry on the proficiency bonus a little further, you know, and then like you just get these options become available and maybe some other little tweaks.
The boon of undetectability, just a +10 on stealth checks and like magic on detecting you.
And then you're some sort of rogue that has it as their proficiency, so you're doubling your proficiency bonus plus your +10, so it's like +22.
Before your stat.
And then you pick up a die. Oh yeah, then your stats
So it's
gonna
probably
be 20.
27.
Yeah.
And remember, like 30 is damn near impossible in this game.
Yeah.
And you got a 27 before you touch the die.
Yeah. So you need to roll a 3 or higher for it to be impossible.
For somebody to notice you. Yeah.
That's pretty disgusting. So I mean, I don't want to sit here and just read off all the boons to you guys, but essentially, it's just a cool element to add to your game beyond 20th level.
Provided you get there. Yeah.
Unfortunately, our games never actually go that high.
Yeah.
But
we'd have to start there first.
We can just look off in the distance longingly at the boons.
Well, this is what's going to happen. We're gonna have the option to keep our games going to try and get there, and then additionally, especially with the one shot group,
somebody's probably gonna run
we can say, okay, all right, well, somebody's gonna run something that's utterly epic.
I played in a 20th level camp.
You suck. I haven't managed to do that yet.
So it was just like a meat grinder, and I ran out of time, so I couldn't hang out as long as I wanted to. But yeah, so. I did a.
What the hell were they even throwing at you by that point? Like multiple Tarrasques? Yeah.
Well, the Tarrasque is still pretty.
No,
pretty
you got to
crazy.
remember, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons.
They ain't messing around.
It ain't messing around. Like your armor class isn't going to go above, 25. 25 is hard to do.
Pushing, you have to push
at 20th level.
Yeah.
There's only a couple characters who can pull that off, and I think we needed like a 27 to hit or something. I think he used some made up stuff, and
he was basically using monsters straight out of 3.5.
Yeah,
as they were without adjusting.
The monsters didn't really seem to conform to
the design logic of 5th.
Yeah, so it really does make it really hard, really easy to challenge characters at 20th level. But the funny thing is, like you look at some of the lower level monsters, they can still hit you.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, even at the higher levels, like, are you doing 30 points of damage in a shot? If you're not
you're not killing this thing in one hit.
If you're not a rogue that's rolling, 10 die 6, there's a good possibility you can't. Even a fighter, he's got to use multiple attacks to get that damage up that high.
Yep.
It's true. Yeah, you are pretty damage deficient in this edition for that high level. Like, almost, you'd want to see a boon. Actually, there's some great feats for that, too. Like, there's the Great Weapon, not Savage Attacker, I think the Great Weapon Master, where you can take the -5 to damage to get a +10 to hit. But,
you're sacking out almost all of your all of your proficiency bonus to hit.
Well, in that case, like for me with that, I would really want to figure out ways to structure getting an advantage. Like, the character that fights from a globe of darkness type of thing or whatever, and having, being able to see in darkness.
But, my point is, like, it's easier to challenge higher level characters.
In this edition.
It's not that Pathfinder 3.5 where
what the hell am I going to throw at these guys?
You're just adding up the bonuses and they don't really mean anything because everyone has the same bonuses on either side.
Right, like you could throw like multiple CR5s or 6s at 20th level characters, and you're like, oh, I'm actually feeling imperiled right now.
When we did the Spelljammer game, and you guys had 9th level characters, I used things that were less than a CR.
And the Sturges, man, Sturges Rally, kind of bad.
Yeah, Sturges can be in numbers can be brutal. I use Dark Mantles; they're only like a quarter or a half.
Yeah,
I don't think they're actually a CR. So. Yeah, there's definitely, in 5th edition, you could challenge epic level characters, even with all the cool stuff. It'll make them feel more epic, but at the same time, it's you still get to challenge them, and there's still a reason to play as the player, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But until we actually get some raw and some more source material for the epic level, we got some things to play with.
Indeed,
it's just epic speculation right now.
Epic speculation.
That's great.
So we've booned the hell out of this one. You guys can put your comments and your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, even share.
You can head on over to nerdarchy.com.
Or you can hang out with us on Facebook.
Until next time.
Stay nerdy.